What's the point of having more possession if every time your opponent reaches your penalty area, it feels like they're about to score? If you had asked anyone before the United States versus Belgium match who was more likely to qualify, most people probably wouldn't have given you a definite answer. The United States had been enjoying a very respectable tournament, while Belgium came into the match knowing they possessed one of the most dangerous attacking units in the competition. But what happened in the round of 16 became one of the clearest football lessons of the World Cup. The United States finished the match with more possession and more completed passes, while Belgium walked away with the goals and qualification. At first glance, the statistics were misleading. The United States controlled 57% of the possession. They completed 476 passes with an impressive 89% accuracy. Those numbers would make you think the Americans were in complete control of the match. But once you looked at the attacking statistics, the real story became clear. Belgium attempted 15 shots compared to just 6 for the United States. They hit the target 7 times, while the Americans managed only 2. That was the entire story of the game. The United States had the ball, but Belgium had the danger. The most deceptive part of the match was that the United States actually felt they were in control. When you dominate possession and complete hundreds of passes, it's natural to believe you're controlling the game. But the truth was that Belgium were perfectly comfortable with that scenario. They didn't want the ball in the first place. They wanted space, and the more the United States pushed forward, the more space Belgium found to attack. That's exactly how the match unfolded from start to finish. From the opening minutes, the difference in approach was obvious. The United States tried to build patiently from the back, while Belgium looked to reach the goal as quickly as possible every time they won possession. That became clear very early. In just the 9th minute, a well-worked attack, a slight defensive lapse, and the ball found Charles de Ketelaere. The young Belgian needed no time to think. He struck first time and scored the opening goal. Belgium led 1-0. The early goal was the perfect start for Belgium because it allowed them to play exactly the kind of match they wanted. They could sit back a little, let the United States dominate possession, and wait for the right moment to strike. Meanwhile, the Americans were forced to take more initiative and push further forward, which was exactly what Belgium had been hoping for. But the United States refused to give up. As the match went on, they began to impose themselves more in midfield. Their possession increased, the number of completed passes grew, and the ball started moving much more quickly. American fans began to feel that an equalizer was coming. And in the 31st minute, the moment they had been waiting for finally arrived. Malik Tillman stepped up to take a direct free kick and struck a brilliant shot that found the back of the net, bringing the match back to level terms at 1-1. At that very moment, many people felt as though the game had started all over again. But that's when the real difference between the two teams became obvious. Great teams respond immediately after taking a blow. Just 2 minutes after conceding the equalizer, Charles de Ketelaere made his presence felt once again. In the 33rd minute, Belgium launched a quick attack. The American defense lost its shape once more, and the ball ended up in the net again. Belgium led 2-1. It was one of the cruelest moments of the match for the United States because they had worked so hard to get back into the game, only to see all that effort erased in less than 2 minutes. The truth is, de Ketelaere wasn't just scoring goals. The Belgian forward was producing one of the finest performances of his international career. Every time he touched the ball, he created problems. Every time he entered the American penalty area, it felt like something dangerous was about to happen. That's the mark of a top-class player. He doesn't need countless touches to influence a match. The moment he gets on the ball, you sense the danger. And this was the night he established himself as the undisputed man of the match. The first half ended with Belgium in front. But strangely enough, the general feeling was that the United States was still very much in the game. They had more possession and were moving the ball well through midfield. But sometimes football can be deceptive because controlling the ball doesn't necessarily mean controlling the match. At the start of the second half, the United States continued circulating the ball and searching for an equalizer. Belgium, however, remained calmer, more organized, and most importantly, far more dangerous whenever they approached the penalty area. That's a crucial point, because the difference between the two teams wasn't the number of passes they completed. The difference was the quality of their decisions in the final third. Then came the moment that completely changed the game. In the 57th minute, American goalkeeper Matt Freese made a costly mistake. It was one of the toughest moments any goalkeeper can experience, because an individual error in a knockout match often carries an enormous prize. Hans Vanaken took full advantage of the gift and scored Belgium's third goal. Suddenly, the score was 3-1. Perhaps the third goal was even more important than the first two, because at that point, the United States still believed they could come back. But conceding from a goalkeeping mistake broke the team mentally. before it defeated them tactically. Suddenly, they needed to score twice against a Belgian side playing with tremendous confidence. That's an incredibly difficult position for any team. After the third goal, the United States tried to respond once again, but they began committing more players forward, leaving huge spaces behind their defense. Those were exactly the spaces Belgium had been waiting for. Throughout the match, the Belgian team had relied on attacking quickly, and the more space they were given, the more dangerous they became. If you look at the statistics after the final whistle, you'll find one of the strangest contrasts of the tournament. The United States had more possession, completed more passes, and were more accurate with their passing. Yet they managed only 6 shots during the entire match. Belgium, despite having less of the ball, finished with 15 attempts on goal, almost 3 times as many as the Americans. That single statistic tells the whole story. The real difference between the two teams wasn't individual skill, fitness, or even possession. It was efficiency. Belgium needed only a handful of moments to strike. The United States needed long spells of possession just to create a few chances. And in knockout football, efficiency matters far more than simply controlling the ball. Perhaps no player represented that difference better than Charles de Ketelaere. He wasn't just a scorer of 2 goals, he symbolized the way Belgium approached the entire match. Almost every chance they created became a genuine threat. Every attack ended with the right decision, and every American mistake was punished immediately. As for the United States, they fell victim to one of the most common problems in football: possession without end product. The team moved the ball well until reaching the edge of the penalty area, but from there, the quality of their decisions dropped. That was clearly reflected in the small number of shots they managed, despite enjoying 57% possession. It's certainly one of the areas the American coaching staff will review after the tournament. As the match moved toward its closing stages, the pattern became clearer and clearer. The United States kept trying. Belgium kept waiting. The United States attacked. Belgium exploited the space. With every passing minute, Belgium moved one step closer to the quarterfinals, while the American dream drifted further away. When the United States finally pushed all their lines forward in search of a miracle, the expected happened. The spaces opened up. The defenders were left in extremely difficult one-on-one situations, and that's the last scenario you want against a striker like Romelu Lukaku. Because once he finds space to run into, he's almost impossible to stop. In stoppage time, the final blow arrived. Lukaku received the ball and surged toward goal. Everyone already knew how it was going to end. Belgium's 4th goal, 4-1, a goal that ended any remaining American hope and finished the match exactly the way Belgium deserved. Perhaps the most painful part for the American fans after the final whistle wasn't just the scoreline, it was the statistics. Because there are matches you lose while knowing the opponent was simply better. But this one was different. It's the kind of game that makes you look back at the numbers afterward and ask yourself, how did we have more possession, complete more passes, and still lose 4-1? In the end, people will remember that Belgium won 4-1 and advanced to the quarterfinals. But those who watched the match know the story was much bigger than 4 goals. It was a battle between a team that had the ball and a team that knew exactly what to do with it. Between a team that controlled possession and a team that controlled the chances. Between an American side that did many things right and a Belgian side that did the one thing that mattered most: scoring goals. Because at the FIFA World Cup, nobody remembers who had more possession or completed more passes. People remember who made the most of their moments. And on this night, Belgium made the most of almost every single one.